What up, what up? Back in August of 2022, I did a video on the HomePod Mini, the Apple device that basically can control your Apple Home, whole home audio, Siri requests, a ton of different things packed into this little package. So at the time, my question was how many is too many? For those of us that want these in every room, or you've got a large house and you want to control your smart home throughout, how many was too many? At the time, it was 6. And I was hoping and I was pleading with Apple to give us an update and fix that. So I was thinking 16.2, it's got new Apple Home architecture. Basically, they kind of put some stuff under the hood of Apple Home. Did that fix it? That is what we're addressing today. Can we do more than 6 now? Let's talk about it. What up, everybody? It's George Langabeer with Silverhammer Surveillance. Here on the channel, we talk smart home tech. We talk home security. Lately, I've been talking about my unfortunate cancer diagnosis and my journey there, trying to spread awareness. So we've been talking about that and sharing videos about that. But today is not about that. Today is about smart home tech, specifically Apple Home, one of my favorite topics. And the HomePod Mini, kind of the controller of the Apple Home. It can be your hub. It can play music throughout your house, Siri requests, all sorts of things you can do with it. Now, back in August of 2022, like I mentioned in the intro, I did a video on how many is too many HomePod Minis. A lot of us have a large home. We want music in every room. We want Siri in every room. But there was kind of an unspoken limit, and this was confirmed with Apple support and people at the Apple Store, of 6. And if you go back in that video, I was experimenting. I was trying to push the limits, and I kept scaling back. And when I got to 6, it was kind of my magic number. Well, then Apple came out with 16.2. It was actually at the end of that video. I was asking Apple, help us fix this. Come out with a new update. Well, 16.2 came out, the new iOS update, and one of the features of that was new Apple Home architecture. And I'm not going to talk about that specifically. My boy Shane Watley did a great video on that. I'll put the link here. Check that out. But I'm talking about HomePod Minis specifically. And when 16.2 came out and I heard about that new architecture, I was wondering, since the HomePod Minis are so integral in controlling Apple Home, did that 16.2 help with pushing us over that limit of 6? So what I did is I started with 8, because I had 6 at the end of that video. That's what I was doing until recently. When 16.2 came out, and I started with 8. And I kind of started mixing from solos to stereo pairs, solos to stereo pairs, started spreading them out. And what I started to find is that it was working much better, except if you had multiple stereo pairs. The stereo pairs seem to cause a wrinkle no matter what. And you're all right if you have just one, but I found if you just put any combination and have more than one stereo pair, we started to have issues. So anyway, I have one stereo pair on my main TV, and then I had 6 others, and everything was going great. I originally started a stereo pair in my bedroom. That's where I started having issues. So anyway, I scaled back, 2 in my TV, 6 in the rest, and then I thought, I want one in every room. I got to push that limit. And for me at Silverhammer Tower, check out our tours from this Silverhammer Tower. We did one a few months ago when we moved in, then an updated one more recently. Check those out. My magic number here is 10. I wanted 2 on my main TV, and then I wanted 8 everywhere else. Now, I would have liked to actually have 14. I would like to have 2 in my master bedroom and 2 in my office, but that's where I started to run into problems. So anyway, I started at 8, and then we went to Chicago last weekend, my favorite Apple store in Michigan Avenue. I did a video on that way back when, check that out. But I bought 2 more, and that got us to my magic number. So where I'm at is 2 on my main TV, 8 in the rest of this place. And what do I have to report with that? I have to report that 16.2 helped tremendously. So whether Apple was listening to my video or all our videos of everybody asking about this, helped tremendously. And I want to break this down. What I was talking about in that last video and this video specifically was whole home audio and Apple Home requests. Now, it didn't matter how many you had. If you just were asking Siri in a single speaker for a timer or whatever it was, that was fine. You could have 15. And if you were just talking to one, it was working. But where my big problem was, and that first video stemmed from, was whole home audio. I'm a music freak. And if you follow us on Instagram, you know that my battle from Sonos to HomePod Minis, I've been waiting for a new full-size HomePod. I've been waiting for a HomePod with a screen. I want that new full-size HomePod to have Dolby Atmos. And because it didn't have, the Minis don't have Dolby Atmos, that's where I was switching from Sonos, mostly for my TVs. And it was downright insanity. And that's what just happened to me again. In fact, if off camera right now, you've got the Sonos that I'm selling on Facebook Marketplace now that I'm testing 10 HomePod Minis. So anyway, it's been quite a battle for me, but I will tell you with 16.2, I've got 10 in here, 1 stereo pair, 8 in other rooms, and it was working great until I have one issue on one of my stereo pair HomePods with the iCloud password. If you go to Apple Home, it has an account error. And so I tried to log back in, and for me, I have my HomePod Minis on iCloud, and then my Apple Music account was on an old Apple ID. So it was asking me to sign into iCloud and then that other Apple ID for Apple Music. And unfortunately, when I got that error, I kept trying to sign in, and it kept just cycling back. It would work for a second, then it would ask for me for my account. Work for a second, it would ask me for my account. And then it would just work for a while, but then all of a sudden it would say account again. So I called Apple support just yesterday. They told me that it is a confirmed issue with HomePod Minis. It has nothing to do with how many I have. It's just an issue. You could have just one and get that error, and they are working on it. And then strangely enough, during that phone call, I was sitting there putting in my password, and it worked, and it's worked since. And so even this morning, Teresa and I have just been sitting here enjoying whole home audio on our 10 HomePod Minis, and it's been working great. So other than that error, which Apple's working on, I just wanted to give an update. After 16.2, it seems like we can stretch that 6 limit quite a bit. I'm at 10, and it's working great. Of course, I kind of want to stretch it even more, but that would require me to do stereo pairs. And again, that's still the section of the HomePod Mini that just worries me. If you've got more than 1 stereo pairs, you're probably just asking for problems, which is unfortunate, because I do want one in my bedroom and I want one in my office, but I'll live. So the good news is I think that limit is stretched. Now, I was talking to Apple support yesterday, and I was asking them about the limit. They thought the 10 was still maybe up there, but since it was working, great. So I'm sure they're just scared to tell anybody, hey, you can have like 20 of these things. But again, it was an unspoken rule of 6. It was never confirmed like in writing by Apple, but several people told me that. And now I just don't think, the people I've talked to know. But I will tell you 16.2 helped a lot. So I just wanted to give a little update to that video from August 2022, where I was talking about that limit. I think we're definitely in a step in the right direction. I think 16.2, having that new architecture, tells me they're concentrating on Apple Home more. And let's hope it's a hint of that new HomePod of the future coming out here in 2023. That's my wish list. I want one. I want one with a screen. I want a HomePod with Dolby Atmos. I want to just say goodbye to Sonos forever so I don't have to run around like a crazy person disassembling everything all the time and selling all this stuff on Facebook Marketplace like a freak. And again, if you want to enjoy that crazy journey, check me out on Instagram. But that's it. So I got 10 HomePods going, 1 stereo pair, 8 in solo rooms, working great except for that count issue. I'll probably give a little update on Instagram if that ends up getting fixed, and I'll test that for a while and give you an update. But as of this morning, I got 10 working great. So until that password thing pops up, fingers crossed it doesn't, I'm good. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Let me know in the comments. As far as my health battle, our next video is going to be a little bit more about that. But today, I just wanted to be a straightforward, smart home guy, go back to my roots. So hopefully you enjoyed this little update. Smash that like button if you did. Subscribe to the channel. We try to have videos every week. My health thing has kind of thrown us off a little bit, but I'm trying, and I feel real good, by the way, so I hope to get some normal content going here again as this journey continues, but keep up the support. I appreciate it so much. All right, till I see you next time. Peace and love.